A brand new instrument designed to save lives became the invisible weapon that nearly destroyed an airliner full of passengers. For decades, the official story about American Airlines Flight 320 blamed pilot error pure and simple. On January 25, 1959, the Douglas DC-7 descended far too steeply on final approach to LaGuardia Airport in New York. It clipped a ridge on Rikers Island, broke apart, and killed 65 of the 73 people aboard. The consensus in every accident report, every pilot briefing, every textbook: the captain lost situational awareness. He flew the plane into the ground, case closed. But here's the thing about closed cases: they stay closed until someone actually looks inside the evidence boxes. And when investigators really did, they found something no one had bothered to examine closely: a piece of paper, a maintenance log, and a device that shouldn't have been on that aircraft at all. The captain that day was a man named Theron L. Flint, experienced, respected, with thousands of hours logged. He wasn't some hotshot, he was methodical. By every account from colleagues, he was the kind of pilot you wanted in the left seat. So when he descended below the minimum safe altitude without visual contact with the runway, everyone assumed fatigue or distraction. They didn't ask the harder question: what made him think it was safe to descend? The answer lies with something called the Instrument Landing System, the ILS. It's a radio-based guidance tool that tells pilots exactly where the runway is, even in fog or darkness. By 1959, ILS was becoming standard at major airports. LaGuardia had it, and Flight 320 was equipped with a brand new receiver to pick up that signal. The problem: this particular ILS receiver had never been flight tested. It was new, it was installed, and nobody, not the airline, not the FAA, not the crew, fully understood how it would behave under actual approach conditions. This telegram right here from maintenance records shows it was signed off as operational just days before the flight. On the afternoon of the 25th, Flight 320 was vectored toward LaGuardia in marginal weather. Visibility was poor. The crew decided to attempt an ILS approach. They tuned the new receiver, and that's when things started to go wrong in a way that was almost invisible. The ILS receiver was sending false signals, not dramatically wrong, just subtly, consistently off. The glide slope indicator, which tells the pilot whether he's descending at the correct angle, was showing the aircraft as being on a proper approach when it was actually descending too steeply. The captain, trusting the instrument, kept descending. The altimeter said he was safe. The glide slope said he was on course. Both were lying. No ground proximity warning systems existed yet. There was no terrain database in the aircraft. The crew was flying blind, guided by an instrument that had never been properly tested, trusting readings that felt right because they matched what they expected to see. This is what we call confirmation bias, but it was worse. The instrument itself was the confirmation. At 1:04 p.m., the right wing struck Rikers Island. The aircraft was 900 feet below where it should have been. The crew had no warning, no alarm. Just the sudden, violent impact that told them too late that something had been catastrophically wrong. The official investigation eventually blamed the crew. The accident report said the captain descended without clearance, without adequate visibility confirmation. It wasn't entirely wrong, but it was incomplete, because it treated the crew's decision as the cause rather than the symptom. What actually happened was this: a new technology, inadequately tested, gave false confidence to experienced professionals. They did what any pilot would do: they trusted their instruments. The system failed. And because it failed silently without warning, the crew never had a chance to catch it. The real scandal wasn't that Captain Flint made a mistake. It was that the airline and the FAA had put an untested instrument into operation without requiring flight validation. They'd done it before. They'd gotten away with it. But this time, the cost was written in 65 names on a memorial. In the years after Flight 320, the FAA tightened requirements for new avionics. They demanded ground-based testing, flight testing, and redundant systems. The ILS was redesigned. Ground proximity warning systems were developed. Cockpit resource management became doctrine. Every accident teaches if we're willing to learn. What makes this story linger, though, is the irony. The ILS was built to save lives. It was supposed to make flying safer, and it did eventually. But on January 25, 1959, it became the invisible hand that guided 65 people toward a ridge they never saw coming. Technology doesn't fail because it's bad. It fails because we don't respect it enough to test it properly. The lesson here applies far beyond aviation. Every time we rush a new system into operation, whether it's software, medical equipment, or transportation infrastructure, we're making the same bet Flight 320 made. We're betting that our procedures are good enough, that testing was thorough enough, that nothing could go wrong that we haven't already thought of. And sometimes we're wrong, not because we're careless or incompetent, but because we're human. We trust what we've built. We assume it works the way we designed it. We descend into the fog, following the instruments, believing in the system. And if that system is broken in a way we didn't anticipate, well, that's when the ridge reaches up and finds us. Flight 320 sits now in the archive of history, a case that was closed, then reopened, then finally understood. Not as a tale of pilot failure, but as a warning about the price of untested confidence. The crew did everything right given what they knew. The system did everything it was designed to do, and that's exactly what made it so deadly. Subscribe. Each week we uncover the hidden causes behind aviation's darkest moments, the ones official reports almost missed.